In our chat with Sam McHugh, his camp for Nebraska opens up tomorrow. In the Big Ten, 14 of the 18 starting quarterbacks will have transferred. They will be portal guys. Nebraska will start a true freshman. An actual high school recruited quarterback will start at the University of Nebraska. It's rare. It's actually really rare.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Adrian is raising his hand.
Yeah.
But Tanner Lee and Casey Thompson and Jeff Sims are all sitting in a corner having a beverage.
God, another Jeff Sims reference, damn.
Nice guy.
He is.
Jeff Sims is one of the best things that happened to Nebraska football.
No, for people who...
He might be the most valuable player of the offseason.
Yeah.
Because he's not here.
For people who are, and the fact that he didn't at least play okay to where he would be coming back, chances are you do not have a Dylan Raiola that is at Nebraska. So, when you brought that up, think about, on top of how we know of a person he is, the fact that he didn't pan out, and yes, we all went through quarterback hell last year. It actually worked out well.
Wasn't it Bill Shakespeare that said, through tragedy comes triumph?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like that's a Bill Shakespeare.
Maybe I'm being a little too harsh that Sims' 23 season was a tragedy.
Well, if there's a tragic season for a quarterback, I don't know how much worse you can get.
But if this was a movie, if you feel it, chase it. And you go to Arizona State.
I haven't seen it yet.
So,
I'm ready.
Yeah, there's a lot being shared of the movie, except for the last.
Oh, I heard you guys talking about it during the crossover yesterday too. Yeah,
the last scene gets a little kind of wacky.
I heard you guys told me I heard you guys say on the crossover the entire state of Oklahoma basically gets lost.
No.
Okay.
I mean, if you're a big fan of Stillwater or El Reno.
Yeah, I heard about El Reno.
Mm-hmm.
That and then your guys' hygiene talk, which I'm making sure that wasn't me that you're referring to.
We got a problem in this country, everybody.
Anyway,
we got a personal hygiene problem. Okay.
Not disagreeing. And now sniffing myself to be sure.
Little under the armpits. I don't care, man, woman, both, whatever.
Yep.
Okay. Let's take care of this. This is a problem. It's hot outside.
Yeah, these next couple of days especially.
Yeah. 1620, the deodorant. We're going to get it made.
So Sam brought this up about Jalen Gramstad. And I think the quarterback position will be really interesting because quarterbacks got to be better than they were in the spring. And everybody that was playing had made a jump.
Mm-hmm.
So their offseason work going into the season, Dylan Raiola's got to be better. And everybody's got to develop. But that room is kind of interesting because you have two true freshmen. Then you have a guy that went 5-3 last year as the starter that still wants to be the starter in his mind. And then you brought in a guy that had an incredible NAIA career that is very cerebral. I don't know what the expectations are for Gramstad. I know that he has picked up the offense because he played in a program at Northwestern where you have to be able to think on your feet, and he's able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So he's grasped the offense, but then there's going to come the jump from playing NAIA football to Division I and the speed of that. But I'll entertain this because I'm the one that was looking for y'all asking questions to rule about, is Harburg going to play a special package? The X factor may be a guy that was in Orange City, Iowa not too long ago. Because I'm willing to entertain this, that if he is good enough and you feel confident enough or trust him, then maybe you could look at having Harburg do some things along with being the backup quarterback. Now, that would have to mean basically both of these guys are number 2.
Yeah.
So Gramstad might be considered in the quarterback room the X factor, which I still say a little bit tongue-in-cheek.
I smirked when Sam said he has to be better than just a guy that can tell some really grand NAIA stories because
I played with Crash Davis. I played for Crash Davis's brother.
Yeah. Here's the part of it that I'd say intrigues me more than anything with Gramstad is dude's a performer. All right. Flat out, he's a performer. So we always talk about winners win. You know, performers have that ability to perform at the highest stage. I'm not saying that I would have anything close to the type of numbers that he put up at Northwestern, but if there is something about the cerebral approach to the game, when I think about how the speed elevates from what he is used to what he is going to see, The athleticism is definitely one thing, but I think this is where you get into the mental aspect as well. That it's intriguing from the standpoint of everything we've heard about him is the physical and mental jive. It aligns. I would have felt a lot better if he was here in the spring. Obviously, that wasn't the case. But how much you can throw at him, but without overwhelming him, knowing that, okay, if you were to come in a situation, this is what we would need to know. And so when I think of Glenn Thomas and working with Graham said in such a short time, getting him ready for the fall, if he's going to be in the mix at all, as far as someone that could come in to spell a Dylan Raiola or even a Heinrich Haarberg, that you have essentially your Gramstead package. You have your basic stuff. And can he execute that? Essentially, if you put him in a position to play in any significant role, any significant minutes, can he at least not hurt you? And I'm not even saying he helps you dramatically. Can he at least not hurt you? We bring up Jeff Sims. Jeff Sims hurt you. That's
Wait a minute. He had the long run against Colorado right after halftime.
That's true. The cons, unfortunately, outweighed the pros in the Jeff Sims experience last year. So can you basically have that mean to the average of what his performances would give you? Do you want to call it a game manager? Sure. That's fine. It can't be to where all of a sudden the offense takes a step back. I'm just intrigued because the guy has always performed at a high level at that spot. It's a major ask to say, go from that to the Big Ten, whatever, even if it was for a series, and be able to expect the guy to be a playmaker. Like, I always think about that position of, can you win because of that guy, as opposed to you can win with him. That's where I would say the ceiling would be you could win. Hopefully you could get him in a position where you could win with him.
I'm going to play the role of Heinrich Haarberg here. All right, got a pretty good life. He loved in Kearney. He got a regular spot on the Doug and Daddy show. Dating
good golfer,
dating top volleyball player.
Yeah, there's a lot of good things.
But if I go through camp, and I look much better in the spring, but everybody forgets that because 15 was dicing up the field. But I had a nice throw. Remember that throw I had to the corner?
I sure did.
Nobody brings up my name. No, my head coach even goes to the other freshman before he talks about me. But in all honesty, if Heinrich Haarberg comes out of camp and he is not the number 2 quarterback, isn't his time at quarterback at Nebraska done?
Yes.
Aren't we looking at a change of address or a position change? Because remember, all the issues of this staff came a year late for him and basically get ignored under Mark Whipple and made fun of by Mickey. He did start 8 games. And his flaws and them trying to figure out, oh my God, who is this guy and what do we do with him? He did go 5-3. So if he is not the clear number 2 through camp, where he's already got a long head start on this guy that just rolled in the summer, then I think you have to think about, I don't think it's a position change. I think you're thinking about a change of address, because everything that I've heard and everything he has said, he wants to be a quarterback. And I think if you get beat out and you're all of a sudden number 3 quarterback and you were an 8-game starter last year, then you probably think about, okay, do I want to stay here? I want to be part of this. Okay, I'll stay, but I want to play another position, or I do want to play quarterback, and my path was already going to be tough here. Now it's gotten even tougher.
The thing that I'm not convinced on with even him being under Glenn Thomas is that he's going to be that refined quarterback that you need to execute an offense and wants to throw the football more. And I think there's definitely growth that I think is realistic for Heinrich Haarberg now that he's getting more attention over these last, now going into his second fall camp, under a guy and guys, personnel around him that is actually interested in developing him. So I do think that will give you improvement. And I think even from last year to this year, that will give you improvement. But my opinion, and maybe I'm way off, I think there's a cap on that. And so it was kind of fun to hear about the strides that he made when we were talking spring ball and hearing from the coaches.
He's a better quarterback than he was when the season ended last year.
And he should be. I mean, he absolutely should be.
You can't deny that.
Yeah. And the thing that's good about that is even with the limitations that they had and the things that they really try to do offensively to cater around him and the abuse that his body took, that experience is invaluable. That he was able to see defenses. He was able to see how people wanted to adjust him, like all those things in real time, and being able to at least carry a record with you of a 5-3, or, hey, this guy won 5 games for us in a season where you won 5 games. It's the things that he was unable to do that I think will have growth, but will it be enough growth to where if Dylan goes out, you feel 100% confident that you could hand the ball right off to him, and that offense isn't going to, okay, to an extent, isn't going to miss much of a beat to where you will continue the offense to be part of the solution, because that's what it needs to be this year.
Well, they've built the offense differently with the pieces around him. They know one quarterback is quarterback-centric and what he can do, but all the quarterbacks are going to look the same. It's not like Jeff Sims was a different type of quarterback, and then Harburg can't throw, but he can run. And so we got to completely change our offense with an offense that we're not familiar with or comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the situation. The real discussion then would be, like most places, that you have a bona fide number one, and when you go to a number two, you're going to take a step back. It's just like you alluded to, how big of that step back is going to be.
That's what I don't know. So there's the X factor with Gramstad as far as what has he learned, what does he know, but also how much has Heinrich improved?
Are we just fascinated with him because he's an NAIA kid and he won the NAIA Heisman Trophy?
Yeah.
Have we watched him play?
No.
Okay.
No. Just seen highlights.
Yeah, I'm just adding that discussion here.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, Sam's right. And a lot of us, we got into that. The question is this something, or is this just a cool story? Well, right now it's a cool story. And if it's something, we'll probably find out in the most dire circumstances. That means 15 is unavailable, and chances are Heinrich has not made the jump that the offense would need him to make to feel confident that, hey, let's not take a major step back.
A lot of Jeff Sims chatter on the stream. Walter, I like Walter. Walter follows me everywhere. I talk to Walter on Saturdays. I do. I mean, Walter comes to my Saturday show. Rick's over on the Saturday show. He said Jeff Sims can pass it better than Lamar Jackson. Ooh, poll question? Brandon says Jeff Sims single-handedly gave the opponents 3 of their 21-point average, and he only played in 6 games. People forget.
No, they don't.
Walter also adds that Sims was a catastrophe of biblical proportions last season.
He's not wrong.
Might be a little bit harsh. I mean,
biblical. I mean, yeah, you're talking about all kinds of natural disasters that we haven't even seen in our lifetime.
Peter, Paul, and Mary were not catching passes. Noah was not hanging out in the corner of the stadium with his ark.
From football, biblical proportions.
Never once did Nebraska play the Romans last year.
I don't think they'd be favored.
Not last year.
No.
This year could be a different story. I think they have a defense that would be good enough to stand up to the Romans.
Yeah. Have you seen the way the guys are working out too? Shoot.
The Romans or the U.S.? Or the Nebraska guys?
Us, the Nebraskans.
Maybe that's been the goal of Corey Campbell off season.
Work out like the Romans.
If you had to play one game today and it was against the Romans, how would you do and how would you get there?
Would they overwhelm us in the fourth quarter?
And that would be very awkward.
Or we have a puncher's chance.
There'd be a lot of logistical challenges to playing the Romans in football.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
One, where would they get their players?
Yep. What kind of uniforms would we be wearing in this one, too?
Who would coach them?
Do they need a coach? They probably have a player coach, most likely. Their coach, he ain't just sitting on the sideline.
Probably Jerry Kill. He always comes back.
He's battling.
That is true. I thought, Jerry Kill was not doing well.
It's like a drug. You can't quit football.
Mm-hmm.
And he just keeps popping up all over the place.
Mm-hmm. So there's your winner.
Does he have a little Roman blood in him? Jerry Kill is...
Dana could join that staff.
No.
I think the Romans are more prone to run the ball.
So they would be, yeah.
Schlossnagle was known to hang out with reporters on the nightlife in College Station.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, Sip would get divorced. Dana Holgerson was coaching at Nebraska.
How can you drink 10 of those?
Ed says, good discussion. Would the first half be the Old Testament and the second half be the New Testament?
Oh, what would that halftime look like?
And he said, your coach would be Paul the Apostle. Wait a minute. We're mixing a lot of Romans here.
We're getting into the apostles on this one, too.
Wait, Paul Rhodes again?
Good.
And to finish this off, do you think when the Romans made a bad play, they'd go, Jesus Christ.